2. The diversity and complexity of the market make both the securities and real estate markets SRS prone, presenting the situation of multiple empty spaces, juxtaposition of bulls and bears, and separation of bulls and bears. There may be such a situation within a market, such as the coexistence of bull heads, bear bodies, and bull bears in the share market. This type of phenomenon can also occur between different markets, such as after the opening of the Chi Next. The Chi Next may go bull, and the share market may enter a sideways period. The real estate is also different in temperature. It is roughly that the commercial housing market is booming while HLM is stabilizing. Therefore, policies cannot be regulated solely based on a certain type of index, and investors cannot use a certain index as the main investment reference. In the China market, it is necessary to plan comprehensively and clarify. Active again, the ground has made a splash for the development of the Chi Next board. Although this approach to building the securities market may seem somewhat indecent from a classical perspective, it is consistent with the special model that meets the needs of China's economy and society. During the period of commodity economy, the dual-track system successfully resolved various obstacles and ensured a stable transition from a planned economy to a market economy. At a time when the capital economy is sweeping away, the multi-track system is still the optimal solution. On to resolve resistance. Starting from the analysis of the entire development process of the A-share market, it can be seen that the distortion of the A-share market originates from its historical functional positioning of poverty alleviation for state-owned enterprises. It conforms to the historical stage of China's economy being dominated by state-owned enterprises. Therefore, within its framework, it naturally has its own operational logic and cannot be transformed into a classic stock market overnight. During its most difficult period, relevant departments resisted various pressures of closing the A-share market and chose to actively develop other markets outside of it, allowing B-share, H-share, and small and medium-sized board markets to have their own suitable participation targets and development functions, enriching the hierarchy of the capital market, and successfully curbing the crisis of severe failure and collapse of securities market reform, ensuring the survival of China's securities market, and finally waiting for a long-awaited blowout. This multi-track market is not only a stable strategy in securities market reform, but also a complex economy in China. The reflection formed in the securities market is intertwined with the selfishness of the princes and the hardships they have to endure. Ministries and commissions have to intervene in the securities market to control floods. The China Securities Regulatory Commission needs to regulate the market. The State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission needs to speak frequently on behalf of state-owned enterprises. The central bank's macroeconomic policies need to affect the stock market, and the financial and tax interests of the Ministry of Finance also come from this. After the completion of the split share reform that year, the director of the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission emphasized that state-owned enterprises still need to maintain national control, which clearly constitutes a paradox. After the recent listing of China Railway officials from the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission publicly refuted the false claims of China Railway's profits and openly protected their own company. All of these are the reasonable game results of relevant departments' buttocks determine heads under their respective existing positioning. From the perspective of, normally, in China, due to the complexity of various interests, especially departmental interests, to truly promote reform, it can only be carried out in a smooth and flowing manner. Constantly opening up new markets is the manifestation. It is also a typical field of China's market economy. And the real estate market follows a path similar to the securities market. The reform path includes welfare housing, fundraising housing, and export housing for sale to overseas enterprises and individuals, including Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Before the market-oriented reform of real estate, the market-oriented reform of real estate has opened up a vast market for commercial housing, with a large number of ordinary residents entering this market. In addition, in order to make up for market failure and meet the needs of low-income people, the government has also developed affordable housing, HLM, limited price housing market, and so on. It can be seen that the real estate market is also a multi-track market with 5 houses coexisting. Policy and markets are established simultaneously, and game rules for various markets are formulated based on different principles and ideas. Different income groups participate in different markets according to their own situations. So the securities market was divided into 5 parts, and the real estate market was developed simultaneously, becoming a major part of China's market economy features. From this it can be seen that as the dual-track system of the commodity economy is coming to an end, the multi-track system of the capital economy is increasingly opening up in another guise. The former is a well-known reform method, while the latter is formed in a vague process. Back then the dual-track system was considered a trigger for corruption, but it put China on the economic fast lane. What will the multi-track system bring to the Chinese economy in the next 30 years of capital economy? 1. The capital market is a trend of incremental reform followed by stock reform, in which increments are used to resolve the accumulation of stock disadvantage. Try to eliminate the remaining problems in stock at the minimum cost. For example, the A-share market reflects the harshness of money circulation in the stock market, while the small and medium-sized board market, as a transitional market, strives to reflect the scientific and fair design. However, it still exists based on the main board and has not completely shaken off the shadow of the A-share market. These awkward situations cannot be eliminated in a day, and can only be gradually resolved in the process of history. From this perspective, The China Securities Regulatory Commission will strive to achieve the historical mission of scientific transformation of the securities market on the growth enterprise market (GEM). At the same time, the GEM will play a buffering role in the potential decline of the A-share market in the future, greatly reducing its impact on the SOC. The dual-track system of commodity economy is coming to an end, and the multi-track system of capital economy is gradually opening up. One of the main reasons for the success of China's gradual reform is the implementation of a dual-track system. Through the transition of the dual-track system by using both the old and new methods, we have successfully smoothed out the difficulties and complications of the previous reform period. Taking the dual-track reform of prices as an example, prices in other countries have experienced periods of very high inflation in the process of moving towards market prices. But China has transitioned relatively smoothly to market prices. Later areas such as state-owned enterprise reform and the securities market also followed the practice of a dual-price system. Currently, the general commodity economy has achieved marketization, and the equity split reform in the securities market has also changed the dual-track system of the capital market. The dual-track system seems to be withdrawing from the historical stage. However, when observing the Chinese economy from a comprehensive perspective, this version that applies different game rules to different markets still exists, with only some new forms of expression. The performance in the securities market is most obvious, although there are not many trading varieties in the Chinese securities market. Stocks are the main master, but there are several stock markets alone, including A-share market, B-share market, H-share market, small and medium-sized board market, etc. From on the surface of historical development, the Chinese securities market has been ruined and developed one after another. With each market developing, the field gives it different game rules. Although the A-share and B-share markets began to operate at roughly the same time, they showed a phenomenon of A-share boom and B-share weakness. The A-share market was widely hyped as a place for state-owned enterprises to solve difficulties and attract money. However, after being dragged down by the reduction of state-owned shares in 2001, the management made it easier to open the B-share market to domestic residents and vigorously develop the B-share market. However, due to the large number of foreign investors fleeing and mainland institutional investors being blocked out, its game rules were far from a share. The small and medium-sized board market in 2004 also became a byproduct of the share market, which had not yet emerged from the bear market, although it was a relatively independent sector that provided financing for high-growth small and medium-sized enterprises. It mostly followed the game rules of the A-share main board, making it more like an accessory of the main board market. As early as 1999, as the Asian financial crisis had just subsided, the central government allocated a large number of high-quality mainland enterprises to IPO in Hong Kong in the form of H-shares to support Hong Kong's finance. The subtle connections between various markets. 3. The multi-track capital market will provide more opportunities for management to move around, especially in Chinese finance under the condition of increasingly integrating into the world. It provides the management with the conditions to fight guerrilla warfare against hot money attacks. For example, the Hong Kong Stock Connect just staged a farce in the H-share market, but at the same time protected both H-shares and A-shares from the risk of being swept up. The strategic depth of multiple capital markets and real estate markets in the future will be more conducive to the strategic deployment and tactical choices of relevant parties.